Hey y'all, as promised, I am going to do, I think, one of two videos on how to decorate flip-flops with summer coming up. I think it's a good idea. And I personally love flip-flops and sandals. We don't have a whole lot of cold weather down here in the South, so I wear them virtually every day, sometimes even in the cold weather if I'm inside. I hate socks. And I mean, honestly, I would, I would wear flip-flops even in the cold weather if it wasn't ridiculous. So anyway, we're going to do a couple of different ones today. And then I think the next video will be, we're going to use like some silk flowers, instead of bows or whatever. And the two we're going to work on today are, mainly for kids, not so much for adults, but I think the next one will be geared more toward women's flip-flops or whatever. But if you're a kid at heart, I don't have a problem wearing girly flip-flops either. Now you can see that I have all of this, this big mess here of stuff. And really it's up to you. I'm going to share the stuff that I have in the sizes, and of course I'll put all the links below in the descriptions box of where I got this stuff. And if you watched yesterday's tutorial, which would be tutorial 14, we did the tap lights, the flashlights, and the bows, and we're gonna do a little bit of that today as well. Okay, and just before we get to the actual tutorial, I'll just kind of show you here. This is the braiding technique that we did for the braided headband. It's the exact same thing, and if you did not see that video, then I'll leave the link below and you can watch it before you actually attempt to decorate the flip-flop. And then of course this is just a Shopkins feltie in the middle. Okay, and that's that's basically it for this one. Okay, and this is like a girl's size 1-2. Okay, and then of course I can't leave the tap lights alone. You can see the light up popsicle underneath. It's real bright right here in the desk area, so it's a little harder to see, but you could make a matching bow with the tap lights. And when you go to Disney or wherever, you can have matching flip-flops and a hair bow, and your kid will light up and be flashy. I just adore these things. Okay, so you just kind of want to pick which ribbon and whatever you want to use. If you don't want to use a feltie, you can use any type of centerpiece. Okay. All right, so I'll just kind of put this to the side. We're going to do the braided one first. Now, it's really hard for me to tell you an exact measurement for, the ribbon for the braiding and all that, because it depends on the size. The larger the flip-flop, the more you're going to need, or the larger this piece is. Okay, so, the way that you would figure that out, of course, is just, you just keep doing your braid or whatever off of the roll until you, come up with, your perfect length. Okay, for instance, well, I'll talk about the measurement in just a minute. Let's just do our supplies first. For this, of course, you need your centerpiece, and I've got the other feltie here. Or if you wanted to do a resin, this was one of the resins that we worked with yesterday, the Minnie Mouse. It still has the flasher on it. Here is another thing that I love to use. These are the puffy appliques. This is a glitter heart, and I can leave you know, some links to where I get these. You know, this is something that you could use as a centerpiece or, you know, whatever. Okay, now there are 2 sizes that you can use for the braiding. In the headband video, I used 3/8 of an inch ribbon. What I'm using here is 1/4 of an inch, yellow and hot pink. Okay, this is 1/4 of an inch. It doesn't matter which size you use. It just, you know, it makes it a little bit, it fits right on top of here. If you do the 3/8 inch, like this size, then it just, you know, it just overlaps a little bit. So it's just totally up to you, whatever your preference is. Okay. The measurement that I needed for this size was about 39 inches, 38 to 39 inches of each of this, each of these 2 colors. But again, you know, it just depends on your size. You know, if you have a smaller size, then you need to do less. And, you know, it's just a trial and error thing. You're going to have to just make it on your own to figure out, you know, what you need. You know, and some people braid a little tighter than others, and, you know, that kind of thing. I wish I could give you an exact measurement, but it's kind of difficult to do. And there are 1 of 2 ways that you can put the braid on. You can see here that I have pre-wrapped, you know, this little rubber part here on the flip-flop before attaching the braid. Okay, and I'll demonstrate how I did that in just a minute. If you decide not to pre-wrap it, that's okay, but then you're going to have to use a ton of this E6000 and put it all over here. You cannot hot glue this piece to the rubber and expect it to stay on. No way. It will not stay. Trust me on that. You have to have some type of, you know, other ribbon or whatever to use the hot glue. You can, though. You can use the E6000 and just put it on there directly. It's a bit more of a mess. It takes overnight to completely dry, that kind of thing. But it's totally up to you, whatever you want to do. If you choose, and I'm choosing not to. It just takes a little bit of time to, you know, wrap the little piece. And that's what I've done. And basically, you want to get a coordinating color, you know, possibly the same color as your flip-flop or whatever. And the idea is you're going to start right here and wrap it around overlapping, and you do not hot glue it to the rubber piece. You just hot glue it to the ribbon itself. Okay, it's never glued to the rubber piece, you know, because that comes off. Unless you know, glue it real quick and then overlap it, you know, however you want to do it. And you don't have to have a real pretty wrap or whatever. It can have a few bumps because it's going to be covered up. Okay. And so, basically, and I just left a little bit. I'm just going to go around. And again, the measurement on this piece, I think, let's see, was about a 50-inch piece. You know, like I said, it's kind of trial and error with the measurements on this, and how tightly you wrap it and how much you overlap, that kind of thing. Okay, and then when you get to the end, you want to go as far down here as you possibly can. And once you're satisfied with, you know, where you want to stop, okay, you're going to cut your piece off, heat seal it real quick. Okay. And then again, you're not going to glue it to that rubber piece. Okay, you're going to glue it to the ribbon. Alright, so you'll need your hot glue gun. And I guess I didn't do a real good job with the supplies. I'm just kind of telling you as we go. And I'm just going to glue that piece down on top of the ribbon that's already there. Okay, so that gives us a base to work with where we can use hot glue. Okay. But again, it's, you know, it's totally up to you. Okay. Now, once you've braided your piece, and like I said, the video on this is, you know, 5 or 6 back, so I'll leave the link to it. Very, very easy to do this. Okay, and you can do this for, you know, kids and ladies flip-flops. It, you know, it just adds so much to it, I think. Now, what I do is I kind of fold it in half and see where my midpoint is. Okay, and I'm going to stick it right here, glue it right here, and then kind of stretch this over and glue it down, so that way you have, you know, an even piece on each side. And this does stretch a little bit, so if you're short, you know, by just a little bit, you can stretch it. Okay. And another thing you can do just real quick, you know, if you want some of these clips, as you're measuring, you know, while you're braiding or whatever, this is a good way of keeping, or even as you're gluing, you know, you can use alligator clips or whatever, you know, clothespins, you know, just to hold these down. Okay, so I'm going to get my glue gun. And definitely I think high temp would be a good idea. And I'm going to put a generous amount in the middle, but you know, you don't want it dripping off the sides. And you just kind of smash it in the middle there, the midpoint. Okay. And get it to where you can position it. It's very flexible and easy to work with. Okay, and then you just start with one side, and I would just put one even strip down the middle, because if you get too much glue, then it's, you know, like I said, it's gonna bleed over the sides or whatever. Okay, you know, you just want to go an inch or two, something like that. Just make sure it's glued down well. Okay, and then you want to do your other side. And by the way, you can flip the braid over and do it that way. You can do either side. Doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, and you know, it's even just cute like that without any center embellishment. You know, and again, like, I know this doesn't match at all, but you know, you could use, like I said, a resin or whatever in the middle, and you know, have the puffy hearts. And generally with flip-flops, you want to turn it the other way, like, you know, as if other people were looking. Okay, so once you have your braid attached, you can then get your feltie piece or whatever you're going to do and decide where you want to put it. You know, I put mine in the center, but you could certainly put it anywhere. You could put it, you know, on the side like that, you know, whatever. Now, with this being a felt piece, you know, you can simply just glue it on the back with the hot glue. Okay. In the center. And again, you know, you want it facing out. I mean, I guess it's just your preference. There's no rule about it. Okay. And that is it. You know, it takes a little bit of time. Oh, and you know, one thing I did not mention that I do want to talk about is the quality of your flip-flop. Yes, you can get flip-flops for 99 cents a piece or $1 a piece or whatever. Just make sure that you buy a good quality pair. The dollar pair are good for just, you know, you don't care what happens to them or whatever, run around in the rain. But if you're going to spend the money and, you know, take the time out to decorate it, you don't want it falling apart, you know, as soon as, you know, the daughter wears it or the little girl wears it. Okay, so you want to make sure that you get a good sturdy pair, whether they be $1 or they be $10, you know, that kind of thing. So, and I know it's a lot of materials here to purchase, but hey, why spend $10 on a pair of flip-flops when you can spend $100 and make your own, right? Anyway, okay, so that's our first pair. Adorable. Cute, cute. And I'm actually sending these to my friend's daughter. Some of you know Pam from Sterling Styles. Her daughter Sterling is getting this pair. Alright, so on to the next pair. And this one is actually going to my cousin's daughter, which I guess she would be my niece. We actually Googled, what do you call your cousin's daughter? And you wouldn't think it would be niece, but it is. You call them your niece. I don't know. It doesn't sound right, but anyway, off track here. Okay, so basically for this one, I didn't do anything. You know, you could braid it if you wanted to. You know, if you wanted to put that much decoration into it. You could actually wrap it. You know, that looks really good if, you know, if you wrap it. You just want to make sure it's, you know, done well and not bumpy. You know, the last one we did, it didn't matter because, you know, you couldn't see it. Okay, and I just adore the tap light. You know, the little blinking lights in the middle. So cute. And kids like that too. Oh, those light up tennis shoes. I used to buy them for my boys. Okay, so of course, and this is a 2-3, a girl's size 2-3. I had gotten these on sale at Walmart for $1, but they were, you know, normally like $4 or something like that. The little pink camo. Anyway, okay, so of course the theme I chose was Shopkins. And I'm using an 1.5 inch. This is the frozen Shopkins ribbon. And I actually got this from a company in the AliExpress group, you know, a company from China. And then, you know, you want to get your matching centerpiece, whatever you're going to use. Okay. And again, when you're cutting these felties out, a lot of times, you know, you may need to go over them with the lighter, you know, if you cut them out yourself. Now, what we are going to do is a simple pinwheel, but it's a little bit different from the one we did the other day because it's not going to have the little spiky tails. All right, the measurement for this piece was 20 inches. Okay, and you want to get your needle and thread, your scissors, and if you use a template to make your pinwheels, then you want to, you know, grab that as well. I just do mine by hand. All right, so you want to first heat seal the ends. Okay, and then you want to start with making your first loop, and you want to push this a little bit over to the side. You see this back part, and you want to go a little past the mid point where you would want, you know, your midsection to be, just, you know, overlapping a little bit. Okay, and then you make your second loop, and you know, you're just kind of coming up at an angle. Okay, if that makes sense. Then you wrap it around, and you overlap just a tiny bit. You don't want to overlap a whole bunch. And I'm actually going to have to readjust a little bit. Okay. And you see how this one has no tails. Alright, and then you just bring up that back piece, and again you want to overlap a little bit past, you know, the midsection, and this is kind of what the back looks like. Oops. Okay. Let me readjust a little bit here. So it slipped out of my hand. I love this ribbon. It's so cute. Okay, and if you crease it by hand or whatever, do that, or the trusted method here that I use with my salon clip. You want to just, you know, make sure you're right in the middle. Okay, and then your needle and thread. And this is a flat bow. And I'm going to show you a loopier bow in just a minute. You know, it's totally up to you what you want to use. Alright, so you just want to go through the back, and I've done this method many times. And you will need a coordinating piece of 3/8 ribbon to wrap around the middle. Alright, and then you just simply crease, pull the thread, and hopefully I'm in front of the camera, not off camera. Alright, and see this, you know, this pinwheel is a little different because, you know, with the others we had the, you know, the tails. This one doesn't have a tail. Okay, and then you simply tie it off in the back. Alright. Okay. And then you just get, you know, I've got a pink piece of ribbon, kind of left over from the other flip-flop. And then you just, you know, you kind of straighten your loops, and then you cover your center, cover that thread up. Oops, and I need to heat seal. Okay, and then wrap it around the center. Cut off the excess. Heat seal again. Actually cleaned my glue gun a little bit. Okay, and there you go. These flat bows I find are good for the flip-flops. Okay, and so that's what you have. And you can, you know, go ahead and glue the centerpiece if you want. I usually wait and do that last. Okay, and another bow, and I know this doesn't match at all, but This is just a regular medium size, I guess, boutique bow. And I'll just cut off, you know, a little tail here. This is an unfinished one, obviously. But this is another bow that you can consider. I know it does not match at all, but anyway, I love these too. They are precious. And I tell you what would be cute is just to, you know, wrap the center in some of the rhinestone mesh. And, you know, that would make a cute bow too. I know this bow is a little bit big, but anyway, that's another option for you, you know, if you want to use it. Now, again, you can take the E6000 and glue this bow down on that, on this rubber piece, if you use the E6000. What I generally do is I take a coordinating piece of ribbon and I wrap it around the center here, and then I can hot glue my bow on top. You know, it's simply a preference. Okay, so basically I'm just going to take, and there's no real method to this. You just take a piece, and you could use even a 5/8 piece. You know, you just hold one, or you can even get, you know, a clip, and you basically just want to wrap it until you get the center covered up. You know, just enough to where you can glue something on top of it. Okay, and again, you know, you want to glue on top of the, you know, one ribbon on top of the other. You're not gluing it to the flip-flop. Okay, so, I mean, you can go around as many times as you want. Just, you know, you just need a little bit of a section of ribbon so that you know, you can hot glue something on. Okay, and then I've got this last little flap right here, and I'm just gonna, left-handed, I'm gonna heat seal that, and then I'm gonna glue that flap down on top of the ribbon, never on top of the rubber part. Believe me, I struggled for years for methods to keep bows and embellishments on top of flip-flops. Okay, so there you go with that. And then I go ahead and just glue my piece on. Now again, if you have printed ribbon, you want to make sure which way you want to put it. Okay, and since, you know, we kind of have everything facing out, you know, my printed ribbon is going to be facing out. So I just put my hot glue on the back. Strings. And then I make sure it's centered. Okay, and you just push that down. Ow, I just burned myself. Okay, and you just kind of, you know, once you think it's pretty dry, alright, then you take your felt piece and put a little glue on the back. Got this string on the end here. I have to take a look at it. Guess I need to clean my glue gun. Okay, and then you just stick that down in the center. And there you go. Oh, I actually forgot our tap light. I was a little too enthusiastic there. Okay, take that off. And let's see, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is over here. Okay, here's my tap light. Blinking light, whatever you want to call it. Now, what I do, and this is where the E6000 comes in, if you use felt you can just hot glue it, okay? But if, remember from, you know, the last tutorial, if you're using a resin piece or something that doesn't have the, you know, the felt material, then you use the E6000. It's totally up to you. I mean, you may want to use it anyway. Okay, so I just put a little hot glue, not much, you don't need much, and then there you go. You just put it on top. Okay, now yesterday I said with the bows that you can put a little felt piece on the back and then hot glue it, but I think what I'm going to do, since, you know, the flasher is going to be put on a flip-flop and it's going to be getting a lot more action because it will be on a pair of feet, I think that it would be wise to just go ahead and use the E6000, you know, directly. Okay, so I'm just going to put some on the back here, and it does take a little longer to dry, but you know, it's worth it if it'll stay on. Okay, now, can't believe I forgot that part because that's my favorite thing about the flip-flops. Alright, and then you just kind of hold it on there, and I put, you know, whenever I need something to dry, I put it in front of a little table fan that I have. Okay. But you know, you could put a felt piece on the back and then hot glue it on and see, you know, how well it stays, you know, whatever your preference is. You know, I always try to use hot glue if I can, but you know, just it really depends on what you're working with. All right, there you go. Both of them are flashing away. Cute, cute. I don't have little girls, but I just spoil everybody else's little girls. Okay, well, that's it for today's tutorial. If you didn't get to see the one that I posted last night, check it out. And the next one will be another flip-flop tutorial, but I think we're going to, you know, make it a little bit more mature. You know, women's flip-flops. I think, you know, we're going to just use some silk flowers and go with that. And see where your imagination takes you with the flip-flops. Now, last thing before I close, we're going to do a new giveaway. And the way the giveaway works is you have to go to my Facebook page, Big Southern Bows, and I'll leave the link, and post a picture of your work. It can be flip-flops, it can be bows. It doesn't even have to be a hair bow. If you made a tutu, if you made a wreath, if you painted something, any craft. I would like to see bows and things that I have done tutorials on, but if you don't have something like that, then any craft will do. Post a picture, and then I will have a drawing maybe in a few weeks. I'll see how many people enter. And we can do, I tell you what, the prize will be, again, any bow or pair of flip-flops that you would like to have. Okay, you can pick one or the other. Okay, so that's the giveaway for the for this, you know, next giveaway. But you have to go to the Facebook page and leave a picture. Okay, it's, I guess, a little more complicated this time. Okay, so that's it. Y'all have a nice day and give me a thumbs up.